Hello everyone, my name is Martin and I'm going to be giving you an overview of different techniques when it comes to quizzes in Canvas. Now Canvas is a rather elaborate course management system and it has many different aspects, different components, different tools. I'm just focusing my attention on one particular tool, quizzes, and I'm going to focus my attention on some established tools within quizzes, but I use them in a slightly different way than most. So hopefully these will be helpful. So we're going to be covering multiple drop-downs. Now drop-downs are another tool in Canvas, but many people don't take advantage of the fact that you can have more than one drop-down in one question. Same thing with fill-in-the-blanks. Most people have one fill-in-the-blank component to a question. You could have multiple. How do you utilize audio clips inside of a question? This could be very useful to give students added direction while they answer a question. And the same goes with video clips. You could have actually a video clip embedded in a question to help enhance a question. And then some people like to embed videos, but sometimes the videos are too long. How do you put a specific portion of a video in a question? I'm going to be covering that. And then I'm going to show how to mimic a formula by using multiple fill-in-the-blanks. And then, of course, Canvas does have a formula type question. I'm going to show you the differences between the two. And then one type of question that I use quite often are called data hunt questions. And then finally, I'm going to show you the custom drag and drop that I was able to create to mimic something I use in Moodle. So let's talk about multiple drop downs. So here I have a little GIF that shows you how I've used multiple drop downs, and you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4 multiple drop downs. Now the key of creating multiple drop downs is using a grid or a table inside of your question. Let me show you. So here you can see I selected multiple drop downs as the question I want to create, and what I did was I added some text, then I created a table, and that table is used right here, and here's the table. And I inserted some graphics here. And then I included the text needed to create a drop-down. And all of the drop-downs are created by using these square brackets, right? And then I created my own variable name. It's called discrete or continuous 1, discrete or continuous 2, and so on. Once you create these, they will show up right here in this drop-down. And then you select the variable that you want to give an answer to, and then you put the answer, discrete, and what you over here you'll see another one that's called continuous. I selected discrete as the answer for this. So here I was able to fit 4 drop downs in one question. And doing multiple fill in the blanks is very similar. So you can see here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fill in the blanks in one question. And I give some instructions here, I inserted a little graphic, and then I created a table to input all of my values as well as the fill in the blank boxes. And here's how I did it. Again, I selected the particular question that I want, which is fill in the blanks, and then I created that table. I put in my text, and then you could see how each fill in the blank box is created by putting a little square bracket and giving it a variable name. Again, this variable name could be anything that you designate, but you could see I have I think a total of 6 variable names, all with unique names. Once you create these names, you could select the variable name here and then give that variable name an answer. And that's how I did it. Now, what about audio clips? Well, you could insert an audio clip in a question, as you see here. Here I have an audio clip with multiple fill in the blanks. Now, I did a specific technique on how to create an audio clip. What I did is I just recorded a video with a gray black background, and I'm just using the audio from that video, and I shrunk it down to right here. This is not the only way you could insert an audio clip. Canvas also allows you to use its own audio clip tool to insert it here. But let me show you how it looks. I'm going to play it right here. A site manager has 17 employees to oversee. 5 of the employees are over 40 years old. He must cut his workforce to 14. What is the probability that all 3 employees fired are over 40? In other words, what is the probability that the first to be fired is over 40, the second is over 40, and the third is over 40? Enter your answers in the space provided below, then click Submit. Okay, now let's move on to the next. What about doing the same thing, but this time, instead of audio clips, you actually embed a video in your question? So here I have some text, and I have a fill in the blank, and you can see I have my video right here. So let's look how it goes. Right here, I'll play it for you. In this exercise, we're going to be working with some real data. I've downloaded some information from the NFL on about 6 teams, and I downloaded their entire rosters, and I have information like number, name, height, weight, college they attended, and I converted their height into inches, and I used some interesting formulas and functions to do that. If you want to know more on how I converted this information from height to in feet to inches, just let me know and I can give you more detail. Okay, what about custom URLs? Well, here I have a video that I want to use in a question. But the problem is this video is way too long. It lasts 4 minutes and 23 seconds. I only want about a 12-second clip from this video to be in my question. So how do I do that? Well, it starts with copying the URL for the video. So here is the URL. I'm just going to copy that. And you can copy it and you can paste it in Word and edit it in Word. So here it is. So this is the original URL. Let's say you paste this in Microsoft Word. Here's how you edit it. You're going to find where it says watch $V $, and you're going to replace that with embed \. So it's going to look like this. Now once you've done that, you put your cursor at the very end of the URL, and you've got to include this text. Now this text tells you where the video clip starts and where it stops, and these times are in seconds. And you simply place that right at the very end. And now you could copy this entire URL, and this is how it looks. This is the original, and this is the edited one. And this is what you would use to embed in your video question. So here you could see here, I click on embed, and I paste that edited one right here. I click OK, and there it is. So let's see how it looks. I'm going to play it for you.
Europe has 51% of the value added. This is because it is dominant in the branding, development, design and administration. 28% of the value added comes from North America, where the phone is sold. 16% comes from Asia, and 5% comes from the rest of the world.
So you could see I only had about 12 seconds in the entire clip, which is very, very useful. Now, here's a situation where I want to use a formula. This is a statistics class that I taught, and I have the formula for a straight line right here, and I want them to put in the constants for this formula, as well as the value for the x-intercept. And now, in my next example, Canvas does give you the ability of using formulas, and it's quite useful. I like it. But in this case, I needed a little more flexibility. And what I did was I just used multiple fill in the blanks to mimic a formula. So you could see here, these are 3 fill in the blank answers. And I just added text to make it look like a formula. So here's how it's going to look when you actually create it. You could see I've got the, I inserted some graphics here with some instructions, and then you could see here I typed in y equals, and then I put in the brackets to put in the first fill in the blank, and then I did a plus, x, then did the second brackets. And this is going to look like this. And so you could see I have 3 fill in the blanks here, and they're there to mimic a formula. Now, like I said before, Canvas does have actual formulas. This is a formula question. Now, the great thing about a formula question is it can change the answer as many times as you like, actually up to 250 times. So each student could give get a different variation of the same formula. Let me show you how it looks. So you could see here's the formula question. So you can see I have formula question right here, and then I put in 1, 2, 3, 4 variables, each one surrounded by brackets, right? And then you have to give a range of values for each variable. So for example, variable 1, I'm going to have it vary between -4 and -2. And I do that for all 4 variables. Then I've got to tell Canvas how the formula will be solved, right? And then you could tell it how many different variations do you want of this formula. And I'm going to have 5 different variations. So this can give you up to 5 different answers for that one question. So I found that very, very useful. Now, the last thing I want to talk about are data hunts. And this is just a way for me to get users, students to go outside of the confines of Canvas, find information, and bring it back into Canvas and give me an answer. So in this particular case, I have the students go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and I have them look for the unemployment rate for January. And what they've got to do is they've got to go there, then simply input this in a fill-in-the-blank answer. And so this is just one way for me to mix it up a little bit. Now, the one other thing I want to talk about is a type of question that I really like in Moodle that you can't do in Canvas. And this is this drag and drop. So you can see right here, I have this situation where there's multiple gaps in these statements, and the student has to find the right term and drag it to the right location. I like this type of question, but you can't do this in Canvas. But I have found something that comes close. So here's what it is. Here's a question that I set up in Canvas, and this is a map of the United States, and I have it color-coded to match the districts of the Federal Reserve. So the Federal Reserve has 12 districts, and they're numbered by 1 through 12. And I want students to grab one of these numbers and drag it onto the area that is consistent with the district with that number. And this is how it's going to look. So you can see the drag and drop is now capable. Now, the one thing that it cannot do is it cannot auto-grade like Moodle, but you can do something similar. And this is how I did it. What I did was I created a table that you see right here. And in that table, I have 12 graphics, these little boxes with numbers. And all I got to do is click on the HTML editor to edit the code for each one of these graphics. And this is how it looks. So each one of those graphics is going to start with an IMG and end with a backslash and a little greater than sign. What you're going to do is you're going to find the first IMG and then replace, and not replace it, insert right before it this text. And you put it right there. And then you go to the end of that tag or statement right here, and you input this. Once you've done that, you can now drag and drop that graphic anywhere that you like. So, what's next? Well, the thing that's coming, actually it's over here, is Canvas has something called quizzes.next that is supposed to be an addition to Canvas. It's an extra tool that gives you enhanced quiz features. Now, right now, some colleges don't have this, but I've been pushing really hard for it to be used because this will just give you more tools that Canvas has when it comes to quizzes. Okay, that's all for now. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me. My email was featured in the first slide of this show.